Praise the Lord and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into a really profound, kind of mind-boggling biblical and historical paradox. We're looking at an epic journey, massive divine intervention, and a timeline that, well, on the surface just doesn't add up at all. We're going to jump right into the source text and unpack exactly what went down in that wilderness all those centuries ago. Let's get into it. Section 1. The 40-Year Mystery. Why did a short trip take a lifetime? 11 days versus 40 years. You really have to ask yourself why. Because geographically speaking, you could walk that entire route from Egypt to Canaan in about 11 days. Sure, maybe you add a few days if you're traveling with a massive group of people, but you're certainly not talking about decades, right? So why on earth did an 11-day trip end up dragging out into 40 long, grueling years in the wilderness? What was the actual purpose behind this massive, literally generational delay? Okay, moving right along to Section 2, God's unfailing promises and divine provision. God actually laid out some absolutely incredible promises for the Israelites right out of the gate. We're talking a land flowing with milk and honey. He promised them that an angel would literally walk ahead of them to guide the way. And maybe the most significant part, he guaranteed absolute, total victory. God assured them he'd fight their enemies for them. He promised to put such deep cowardice in the hearts of their foes that they would, get this, flee in panic at the mere sound of a rustling leaf. The victory was absolutely a sure thing. But here's the crazy part. Even though they faced this huge delay, what's truly incredible is the miraculous day-to-day support they received over those entire 40 years of wandering. God didn't just abandon them in the harsh desert to fend for themselves. Seriously, just listen to this phenomenal little detail from Deuteronomy 8, verse 4. In these 40 years, your clothing did not wear out, and your feet did not swell. Wow. This totally proves God wasn't just arbitrarily angry with them. He was lovingly, miraculously sustaining them. Can you imagine going 40 years without ever needing to buy new shoes or hit up a tailor? It's wild. He provided absolutely everything they needed, even while he was actively testing their hearts. Which brings us to Section 3, the turning point. The mission that changed everything. So here's the exact sequence of events. Moses sends 12 spies into the Promised Land, and for exactly 40 days, they scout out the territory. They're inspecting the cities, looking at the people. But when they come back, well, instead of remembering those ironclad guarantees God gave them, the vast majority bring back this deeply fearful, totally faithless report. And the immediate aftermath of all that fear? Total, complete rebellion by the entire camp. The contrast in that camp was just staggering. On one side, you've got Caleb, full of faith, boldly standing up and saying, "We can conquer them." But then, that incredible faith gets completely drowned out by the 10 other spies who are just consumed by blind panic. They look at the fortified cities, they look at the giant inhabitants, and they literally say, "We look like grasshoppers next to giants." They got so hyper-focused on the physical obstacles standing in front of them that they completely, and I mean completely, forgot every single divine promise God had just handed them.
That leads right into Section 4, the cost of unbelief, the divine math.
You have to consider this really shocking divine math. Because they spent 40 days scouting the land in pure, unadulterated unbelief, God decreed a very specific, undeniable penalty. 40 years of wandering. That is exactly 1 year of wandering for every single day they spent doubting God's promises. The source text in Numbers chapter 14, verse 34 makes it emphatically clear. According to the number of the days in which you spied out the land, 40 days, for each day you shall bear your guilt 1 year. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that they weren't wandering out there in the wilderness because Moses lost the map or took a wrong turn. No, they were wandering as a direct, highly calculated judgment on their absolute unbelief. They flat out refused to trust God, and man, that lack of faith came with a massive cost. Finally, Section 5, Faith over Fear, the ultimate takeaway. So let's bring this into our world today. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 3 perfectly bridges that historical gap for us. It says, "For we who have believed enter that rest." See, the text connects the Israelites' epic failure to enter Canaan with a universal truth for all of us. It's our faith, not just our physical actions or going through the motions, that actually allows us to enter God's rest and step into his blessings. The land was ready for them, but sadly, their hearts just weren't.
So, what does this all mean for us? If we're summarizing the core lesson here, it's simply this: God tests the heart. Unbelief delays the blessing. Just like the Israelites standing right on the absolute edge of their promised land, we so often let our own fears put a hard stop to our progress. When we look around and focus on the giants in our own path instead of the promises we've already been given, we are actively delaying the very blessings meant for our lives. I really want to leave you with this provocative question to chew on today. Is unbelief delaying your blessing? Think about it. Are you turning a short, intended journey into a prolonged wandering just because of fear? It's a hugely powerful thought to carry with you as you navigate your own spiritual journey. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep seeking the truth, stay full of faith, and I'll catch you next time.